Okay, hello and welcome back to the football. And of course, we're back here today with the match preview. Sorry for the delay. Obviously, we're here to preview the Bolton game, the Easter Monday Northwest derby. It's one I'm very much looking forward to, and it's one that I sort of said it going into the game against Wickham. I feel very confident now going into these sort of run of games because of what we've done over the last few matches. Obviously, it's kind of started against Northampton at Edgeley Park maybe 2.5 weeks or 3 weeks ago from now. We obviously then went and got the draw against Luton away, which I thought was a really good point away from home. And at that point, both performances still had problems with them, still could have been improved upon. Then we got the game against Wimbledon, where we were really clinical in front of goal and we took our chances and we kind of did enough to get away with not conceding any goals. Obviously, Corey stepped up with an unbelievable performance. But again, you're still sort of asking questions against a better level of opposition. You might not necessarily win that game as comfortably. Then we had the game on Friday against Wickham, which I thought was a huge improvement on what we saw against Wimbledon. It was kind of similar. You know, we took our chances and we defended well, but I felt as if we put in a better performance against Wickham than what we did against Wimbledon. I thought we looked a much better team, and I thought we deserved it a lot more, to be honest. And in that game, we really did deserve the clean sheet. And actually, Corey got the man of the match in the end for the performance on Good Friday, which, to be honest, he was probably more deserving of that on the game against Wimbledon the week before. But he still very much won the contenders for it on Good Friday, and no one's going to argue with him getting that man of the match. I thought it was nice to see him get it because he's had a lot of stick from people since he's come in, and like I said, a few times now, some of it's been fair, some of it's been overboard. But I think he's over the last sort of few weeks, he's sort of really sort of found his feet, I guess, or found his gloves, I guess you could say, with him being in goal. And he's looking like a really solid goalkeeper. So that fills us with a lot of confidence, obviously, as we approach the sort of near end of the season. Obviously, a final as well at Wembley. A week today. I mean, I'll be on my way back from Wembley a week today, and we'll know the outcome of that one. And hopefully, it's one where County have managed to come back with a trophy in their hands. So obviously, the big talking point though before that is, of course, the game tomorrow against Bolton Wanderers, and it's going to be a tough game. I think it's the toughest game we've got on paper from now until the end of the season in terms of League One and away. But I think that I'm going into this now fairly confident. Obviously, we know Bolton are a good side as well, and you're not third if you're a bad side. But yeah, I think we've got a really good chance. And don't forget, we beat Bolton at first game of the season at Edgeley Park. Was it 2-0? And by doing exactly what we've done over the last few games, which is I guess defensively solid, or the other team not taking their chances, and then we're ruthless down the other end. And that's exactly what it was against Bolton on opening day. Bolton could have had maybe 2 or 3 in that first half, if I remember correctly. They fluffed their lines. They could not finish to save their lives. They couldn't finish their bloody Sunday dinner because it was actually on a Sunday as well. And and then we took our chances in the in the second half. I think Hal Woodson scored one, and Malik Mothersill, probably his only goal in League One so far this season for us. If memory serves me correct. But yeah, I think that we've got a really good chance because I think we managed to get a result against them last time. Also, as well, our record over Bolton in recent years kind of comes into a little bit as well. We definitely have the dominance in this fixture in recent times. Obviously, a lot of people will remember the FA Cup games. Obviously, back in 2021, the draw at their ground, before then the replay at Edgeley Park. So I have every reason to believe that we can get something from the game tomorrow. I said going into this Easter weekend, if you get 4 points from these 2 matches, then I think that'll be a good outcome from it. I'm looking at it now, and based on the the performance and the result on Good Friday, I think we've got a really good chance to win the game as well tomorrow. Although I do still think if we get a point from that game, it would be a really, really valuable point. Obviously, we're 3 points off Bolton with a game in hand. I think that if we win that, obviously we go level. It's just goals differences, the difference between the two sides then. But obviously we win tomorrow. That goals difference is going to get closer and closer, bit by bit, because of it's been helped by the fact that we've had 2-3-0 wins back to back. So that's really helped us. But yeah, that goals difference, it suddenly looks like a mountain to climb a few weeks ago. Actually, now because of these wins in sort of over the last 2 weeks or so, it's put us in a more comfortable position now. And I still think, there's people talking about second place still being on now for Bolton. So if we're only 3 points off with a game in hand as well, then people think it's second still on for them, then second still on for us. But for me personally, I don't think, even though Cardiff have dropped off quite a bit, I still think they'll pick up enough points now to get second and go up. But it certainly won't be in the way that they thought they were going to get promoted at the beginning of the season, of course, when they were sat top for the majority of the first half of the season. So I think top two has gone, but then just, what I say with this all the time is if we can just keep winning, or Bolton's fans might think if we can just keep winning, the rest will take care of itself. And I look at it now and I think third's still on. If we can get second, then that would be brilliant. But realistically, I think it's gone. I think we should focus on getting third. I think we should focus on trying to be the best team in the playoffs, unlike last time. So yeah, just going through a few comments as well here. Second is possible but unlikely. It's pretty much what I've said, so I do agree with that, and that was actually put in some time ago. That comment. So thanks so much for that one. McAtee sent off and Dakis Cogley's cup tied. Yep, thanks for reminding me on that one. We'll talk about that one at some point. Remind me if we don't get around to it. I'm picking up my ticket from the ticket office tomorrow at Bolton. The away ticket office. I've done that once at an away ground. I think it was Swindon, maybe 23, 24, where I didn't pick up my tickets in time. So I got them from the away ticket office. Get there early, get it sorted, and then you'll feel relaxed. In fact, I need to remember to take the tickets with me because we've had digital tickets for the last few away games that I've got used to now to remember a physical ticket. Can we talk about Louie Barry coming back? Yeah, we can absolutely talk about that. I think that's what everyone wants to talk about. Barry expected to be on the bench. Barry off the bench for a goal. Yeah, so a lot of people wanting to talk about Louie Barry, and understandably, I can understand why, because of the hype around him and what he offers us. But I just think that, I've said this a few times now. You look at Tanto Alafi, he came in, he hadn't really played for the last few months at Charlton, and it took him a while to get up and running. It's only really been the last few weeks where he's managed to get a fitness back, and he's managed to get a bit more game time again, and he's starting to look back to his best again. But he had a really difficult period of time. It's probably taken him 2 or 3 months to get up to speed. I think we could be looking at the same thing with Louie Barry. He's also been out for a long period of time, and if we're sort of saying Tanto Alafi struggled and looked off the pace, he's just not been playing. He's still been training. Louie Barry's actually been injured, so there's a recovery aspect to that as well. He's not done a lot of training from what I've heard. I think it was like a lot of light off the ball training last Monday. He's done a bit of training, I think, with County today. He will be involved tomorrow. He will be on the bench tomorrow, I expect. And I think I think the plan will be, can he get 15, 20, 25 minutes max in his legs? It's all about the position that County find themselves in the game. Like I said a few times now, if we're in a position where we're sort of 20 minutes to go and we're winning the game by 2-0, let's say, or by 2 clear goals, you can probably think about risking bringing him on. But if we're chasing the game, it's not going to be as simple as that. So I think in an ideal world, we're winning the game and we can allow time to bring on Barry. But I think that if we are chasing the game, it's a really important point to get. And you look at the bench and you've got Sidibe or Tanto on there instead, you might well have to not have that plan of bringing him on. But with 5 subs available to us, I think that I'd imagine he will get on. I think a lot of people will be going to that game expecting him to feature. So I'm hopeful we'll see him, and hopefully we'll he'll have some sort of an impact. But yeah, I mean, look, if he come off the bench and scores, I think that would be brilliant. But let's just remember, Tanto Alafi's been on loan since the end of January. He's just scored his first goal for the club since returning on loan in January on Friday. So let's not put all the pressure on him. I sort of said this a few weeks ago as well. I said the way things were looking, we almost felt as if it was going to take Louie Barry coming back to sort of get us back over the line. I look at it now and I think he's coming at the perfect time. We've actually picked up results without him. We've almost got a feel-good factor back without him having to come back. So that almost takes the pressure off him a little bit. I think had we sort of won the odd game here or there and maybe drawn one of the 2 games against Northampton or Wimbledon or Wickham, and we hadn't had such a sort of form of momentum behind us, I think there might have been a bit more pressure on Louie Barry. But I think because we won the 2 games back-to-back 3-0 and we've had 4 decent results of late, I think that does take the pressure off Barry. What's the chat saying? We'll get 20 minutes at most, maybe less. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Again, it all depends on how the game's going at that point in time. You sat in the bottom tier or top tier for Bolton tomorrow? I'm not sure, I can't remember. My tickets are somewhere behind me. I'll check them in a bit. I think we were probably top tier. I think we were probably the second tier, if I remember correctly, because I think that's where the majority of them were last season. I've not done it before. I didn't do it last season, but I think we are going to be in the top tier. Oh yeah, and happy Easter. Yeah, should have mentioned that. Happy Easter to everyone. Hopefully you've all had a good day. That's why I was half an hour later than I would normally be. So hopefully everyone's doing well. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed that one. Top tier I am. Yeah, might possibly see you. Yeah. So what's everyone's kind of thoughts on the game tomorrow in terms of score prediction? Do you think we're going to win the game? Do you think draws more realistic? I mean, looking at the amount of games Bolton have drawn this season, no one's drawn more games in League One this season, I believe, than Bolton. They've had 15 draws this season, so it's a lot of draws. And I think that when you look at that, I don't think it's a genius move to predict a draw tomorrow. Excuse me. So yeah, like I say, I think a draw would be a decent result. Obviously, 3 points would be better, and it would help us go on level points with them that game in hand as well. So we'd be still yet to play another game and have the opportunity to overtake them in third. And I do think if we can finish third this season, then I think it'd be great. But I still think that it's not as good as what we did last season, finishing third. So I think that it is what it is. But at the same time, the best teams don't always win. So I think last season's team was better. I think most people would agree with that, at this point. But I still think this team could get promoted, which is mad, really, when you think that last season's team couldn't. But it's a worse league as well that we're competing in, so that's also important to take into bring into context. I'm confident now, and I think if we can get a strong performance, in fact, I said it the other day, if we can get a result tomorrow, whether that be a draw or a win, I think we'll go the rest of the season in League One unbeaten, because there's only 6 games left in the league after that. The final as well. I think we're on a bit of a run now, and obviously that can end tomorrow. To be honest, it can end, in any of the 6 games after that as well in the league. But I think we're on a run. I think sort of every team at some point in the season when they get in the playoffs has a decent spell. We had the best spell we've had has probably been between mid-September to end of October. So I think that at the moment that was probably the best run we've had. I think we could recreate that. And I think, to be honest, if we've already had 2 big wins in this sort of little run we're on now, which I think is automatically better than what we did last time around. So we just need to sort of extend that further, And I look at the games we've got coming up after Bolton as well. They're favourable games, really, on paper. So you come through Bolton unscathed, then you're going into the final, full of confidence, and we win that hopefully. And I just think the momentum will be there with us then. The confidence will be there with us then, and I think we'll be a tough team to beat. Take some doing to beat us. So I think then you're looking at it, and then you've gone into the playoffs with momentum as well. So I think that sets us up really well. Go through here. So in the chat, I think we sneak a 1-0 win, same as last season with the Tanto Olafi goal. I think draw. I'm leaning towards a draw at the moment. I'll see if my opinion changes when I sleep on it. As a quick side note, unless they royally screw things up, Lincoln will be promoted full time tomorrow. Yeah, we were discussing that, weren't we, on Friday? Still getting my head around the whole Friday Monday thing. I mean, Friday felt like Saturday, and today feels like I don't even know what day. To be honest, I feel like everyone's probably in the same boat, aren't they, with that one? Just want to say to anyone who's watching live as well, do get your thoughts on the course, and don't forget to like the video. It does help, as always. Stuart's in the chat saying Cardiff are complacent, threw away the title, could be caught. Yeah, there's a chance they could be caught. I mean, I'll have a quick look at the league table again. What is the 8 points between Bolton and Cardiff? Cardiff have a game in hand as well. I think they would have to really mess up, but then they have struggled recently. I don't know. What I'd like to think is if Cardiff do drop, I'd like to think we'd be there to take advantage. Having said that, we weren't there to take advantage the last time Cardiff dropped, obviously, when they went from first to second. So, hi, how are you? I'm good, thanks. Hopefully everyone's doing well. Right, got a bit of information. It was last minute research, last minute stats on Bolton. Obviously, third in League One currently. They've only lost one match in the last 15 in League One. So that I said I'm confident going into this game. I was probably less confident when I read that. They also haven't lost a home match in League One in 2026. Their last home defeat came against Mansfield on December the 29th, and that was actually their only home defeat in League One all season. Now, only top of the league Lincoln are the only other side to have lost just once at home this season in League One. So yeah, and obviously, as I mentioned before, they've picked up the most draws in League One with 15. So a lot of draws, and I think they will be kicking themselves at you sort of turn some of those draws into wins and stuff like that. They could easily be and probably should be in the top two when Cardiff dropped off like they have done. But it's all about taking advantage. It's all about being there when other teams mess up, and we haven't done that this season. Bolton haven't done that this season. And yeah, I just think when you've drawn that many games, when you're in third, you must be kicking yourself if you're them. We often break unbeaten runs of others. Yeah, I mean, I was hoping we'd do that against Lincoln, to be honest, but it wasn't to be. I think there's been some good teams. I mean, I'm looking at this sort of League One and looking at sort of playoff battle, if you like. County for me are comfortable in there now. There's 4 points between us and sixth place Reading. We've got 2 games in hand as well over Reading. The one worrying thing for me would be Stevenage. I think out of all the teams in and around that sort of playoff battle, I think Stevenage are probably the team that deserve it the most for just how consistent they've been across the season. They're a really, really tough team to play against. And I think I might have said it the other day, actually. If Stevenage got in the playoffs, they would be the one team out of anyone that I wouldn't want to face, just because of how tough they are. And then it's kind of one of them as well, because you've got teams you don't want to face. And let's face it, if you're in the playoffs, you don't really want to face any of those sides because they've all been decent enough to get in the playoffs in the first place. But I'm trying to work out in my head, if Stevenage got playoffs, would I rather face them in the final or over 2 legs? Because I think over 2 legs they'd make it painful for you twice. I think in the final it might just be painful once. But I think that I don't know. I think with Stevenage, I think they're definitely one of those teams. Maybe over 2 legs you might get them. I think in a one-off game, I think they might. I think they do the job. So if Stevenage get in and they get to the final, whoever they face, I think they'll do enough to get over the line. As much as I hate to say that, I think we get beat. I think we get beat or draw. We will win if Louie Barry. I don't think Barry's going to be able to have that much of an impact on the game. I really don't. It's going to be his first minutes on the pitch in God knows how long, and I don't think we need to rely on him as much now. I think we got Tanto back scoring again with his first goal back. On Friday, we got Sidibe popping up with goals. We got Cal Wootton, who we had a rare game where he didn't get on the score sheet recently. So I've got Cal Wootton up there as well, bagging in goals. We have got goals throughout the side. Ollie Norwood scoring an open play last weekend for the first time in a Stockport County shirt. So there's goals in that side. Jack Diamond's been a little bit quiet recently in terms of the goals department. I'd expect him to step up at some point soon again, because he's very much a hot and cold player, Jack Diamond, and he goes through dry patches and he goes through purple patches, and maybe we could do with him being in a purple patch in the last few games of the season. So he's been quiet recently. He's not been really had as much impact on the ball as well. I don't think generally, to be honest, he's not been on those sort of marauding runs as well as much. In fact, he's been playing a lot more defensive, I think. Although he had some good runs, I think down the right hand side did he at times on Friday. I mean, talk about that Osborne cross as well, though. What a cross that was. Was it Tanto's goal? I expect us to go up after Leighton Orient's defeat. Did Nathan Lowe play well against us on Friday? Didn't really notice him, to be honest. I think he had did he have one moment where if the was it Onyedema passed it to him, whatever, he could have been in for a goal? I can't remember, but I didn't really notice him too much. I'll tell you what I did notice about him was he got booed. He got booed as he came off, and I could not get my head around that. I could not understand why we were booing him, because as much as he wasn't fantastic for us on during his loan spell in the first half of the season, I don't think he necessarily did anything wrong, and I don't think he necessarily did enough to warrant a boo. When he, every time he returns back to Edgeley Park, I thought he just, good player, but wasn't the right fit. So I wasn't Happy with the booing, but yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Low wasn't that good, dropped a 5.9 rating. Yeah, there we go. Didn't really notice him too much, to be honest. In fact, I think it took me till about the 60th minute before, might have been maybe just before he come off, and I went, is that Nathan Lowe wearing number 11 for them? So he wasn't really in the game from what I noticed. If we go with this squad, isn't it depth enough to stay up? It's going to cost the big transfer signings. It is, and I think that I say this the other day when we were live. I think that if we went up with last season's team, we wouldn't have had to have made as many changes, I think, is what I feel like we need to make this time around. I think that if we go up, I think the club, to be fair, the club said it last season, didn't they? I think they said we've got a plan if we stay in League One, we've got a plan if we go up to the Championship. I think it's the same this season. Well, it will be the same this season. If they go up, they know that they're going to have to spend money, and I think the money will be there to be spent as well if we go up. It's if we don't get promoted where I think it'll be really interesting, because we spent big money in the summer on obviously Brad Hills and Malik Mothersill. They're the two signs that really stand out in terms of money spent, but there were still other undisclosed signings and free transfers where I guess they'll have had maybe bigger signing on fees and stuff like that as well. So we definitely spent money in in the summer, and then obviously in January as well. If we don't get promoted this season, it'll be interesting to see if we spend similar or if we think we've got enough in us to go and be the best. Well, be the best of the teams remaining and go for it next season again. I think it'll be really interesting because obviously, if we get to the summer and we're not promoted to Championship, it's that final year then, isn't it, for that sort of Championship by 2027? So the pressure's on. So in some ways, we might actually be more ambitious in the market if we stay in League One than if we get promoted to Championship, because we'll have reached our goal. I mean, I don't know what our budget would be if we got to the Championship, but I do agree with you. We would have to spend big. But I think it's not just about how much you spend; it's about how smart you are with recruitment. And I think that the recruitment the summer just gone wasn't great. And it was proven to be the case with how much they tried to rectify it in January. I think January we've got some good signings in that, probably some that haven't really worked out as much. I think that Dixon, for example, has barely played. Stokes has been a bit of a weird one because obviously he signed, and I think he signed with an injury. He can only play a limited amount of minutes, so a maximum of 60 minutes roughly. Then he has to come off if he starts the game. Sidibe for me is the standout. When you look at it, I mean, obviously Brad Hills has had a brilliant season, before the injury. So in terms of signing of the season, you're at that point now where you can start to have those kind of conversations. I think that if we hadn't signed Brad Hills on a permanent, and let's say we got him last year, then I would have said Sidibe. And I think depending on how influential he is from now until the end of the season, maybe the goals that he could get, there might be an argument to say he's actually been a better signing for us this season than Brad Hills. But at the moment, looks like Brad Hills has been the best signing. But I think that recruitment's going to have to improve in the summer, irrespective of whether or not we go up or not. But basically, that's I've really gone off topic there. I agree with your point. The squad depth is an issue, and we will have to spend big if we get promoted. What do you think the score will be? I don't know. I'm thinking 1-1 at the moment. I'm thinking a draw, just because of the amount of draws Bolton have had this season, and I think that we can't continue going in the run we've been on, where we've won 3-0 and then 3-0. So I think we'll end up drawing this game. Maybe a bit more of a sort of bringing back down to reality before then going to Luton in the final at Wembley. Because I think if we win tomorrow, let's say we win 1-0 or 2-1 or 2-0 even, we're going to think we're unbeatable. So I think it'll end up being a draw, but who knows? I might change my mind tomorrow. He scored goals for us, and he doesn't deserve to get booed. Nathan Lowe, yeah, I agree. Didn't do as well as what we hoped, but I don't think that was necessarily down to him. I mean, there's been loads of players this season that haven't done as well as we would have hoped, and we don't get on their back as much, do we? So let's be fair, let's be consistent. In which case, we can't afford the expansion. I think a lot of the money that we do get if we get promoted will probably go on to the expansion or the away end or something. I mean, that's the one thing. If we get promoted to the Championship, obviously the ticket prices will go up anyway. But if we can improve that away end somehow and maybe get more away fans in, then being in the Championship, you're going to guarantee you're going to almost sell out that away end each week. So it's going to be more money coming in. So that'll be really be a big benefit for us. I'm disabled, got learning difficulties, and I can't afford to go to Wembley. Is anyone getting the programme to get me to get one? Well, if anyone's aware of, can maybe get a hold of one for him. Let's see what we can do. I'm going to Wembley. He says. Who do you think we need to get in as players? If we need a left wing or right winger? For me, I think the priority right now, obviously without players leaving and all that kind of stuff, I think the priority is a ball-winning midfielder, a tough tackler in midfield. I think that's the one thing even now, as great as we've been over the last few weeks, we still don't have that sort of aggressive ball-winning midfielder. And I think that's what we need. I think that's what we need. I think we've got good players in that midfield. We need more options in that midfield. I think Ollie Norwood's obviously not going to be around forever as well. He controls the game. He can ping the ball left, right, and centre. You've got Odin Bailey that offers legs around that midfield for him, but I still think that we need a ball winner. We need a bit more tenacity in that, in the middle of the pitch for us. He wasn't booed by the main stand. We applauded him off. Yeah, to be fair, it was a mixture of both. It was some boos, some claps. So yeah, that's a fair point. That to be honest. So fair play to those that clapped him and applauded him off. But to those that booed him, I don't really understand why. In all fairness, like I say, there's been, it's not even like he's necessarily done anything wrong. If he'd scored against us and given it the big one, like we've seen some players do, then fair enough. I can kind of see that, but I don't know. It was weird for me, and I don't think it's what we're about. So. Yeah, I was a bit, I wouldn't say disappointed with that, but I think that it was a bit of a surprise, and I guess maybe I was a bit disappointed with it. You need a midfielder and a striker. Well, I think that what we do in the market will be very interesting. I expect we'll bring in a midfielder, at least one, if not more. I think we could maybe even get as many as 3 midfielders. I mean, no one's talked about this yet. Will Ollie Norwood even be with us next season? I mean, if we get promoted to the Championship, he stepped down from the Championship, didn't he? When Sheffield got relegated, I think. So, and he'll be like 35, 36. Is he going to want to play in the Championship with us? Is he going to be able to play every game in the Championship with us? Obviously, got an injury. It was a freak injury just before Christmas, but I don't know. I mean, I think that we can't be as reliant on him this season as we have been. We can't be as reliant on him next season as we have been this season, all in all. But I think we're going to have to sort of bolster that midfield, really, because, as great as he's been, once you get to the Championship, it's a whole nother level again. And of course, he'll have experience, but we've struggled this season by not having legs around him enough. And I think we will have to really bolster that midfield. But again, striker, I think will also be somewhere we'll look to bring in, because Tanto Laffy, I imagine, will go back to Charlton. Whether or not we can buy him back for a cheaper fee, I don't know. But at the moment, he's not our player permanently. So we'll be going in with Sidibe and Cal Woodson's our striking options. Obviously, Andresen as well, but he's been injury hit, and I don't really know, because if we go up, he might go out on loan to maybe League 2, League 1, because we might say he's not up to the level of Championship. He struggled when he has played this season. Pardon me on that one. Any stats on Moxon's loan? Is he playing? I'm not entirely sure what's happening with him. I think he started fairly well for Wigan, but he's not. I've not heard anything recently, so I don't know what's the situation with Moxon. But again, he's another one that I think will come back and move on anyway. So I can't see it. Moxon's played recently. Seeing Wigan fans online talking down on him. What's new there? It really didn't seem to have gone well from the last sort of 12 to 18 months, has it really? Wasn't really getting much game time, I don't think, at Portsmouth near the end. And obviously coming to us, it's just not worked out. So it's a shame for him. But yeah, it's one of those things. We're really, really weak we're really, really weak and open in midfield. No legs, plus Norwood and Bates together doesn't work. Midfield revamp required. 100% agree with that one. But I think it'll be interesting to see how you do it, because if you're saying Norwood and Bates don't work well together, which I do agree with, what do we do? Because you've got Louie Spate, you've got Ollie Norwood. Ollie Norwood's a better player than Louie Spate, but Louie Spate is better. He's going to be. There's more longevity, isn't there, to Louie Spate? But then he's injury prone. So I don't know. I think that potentially both of those could end up moving on for different reasons in the summer. So yeah, I think there's a lot of things that are going to be worked on in the summer, irrespective of whether or not we go up or not. Because if we don't go up, then we'll really need to, get the pennies out and start spending to make sure we do get promoted to Championship for 2027. And if we do go up to Championship, then we've got a lot of work to do to be capable of staying in the Championship. I need a programme from Wembley if anyone's going to get a programme. If anyone can sort that out. Sorry, can't help. I'm not going to Wembley. There's a lot of people as well not going to Wembley, and I see that being sort of a big talking point on Twitter amongst people. People talking about, oh, well, we've only taken 10,000, all that kind of stuff. I've seen Luton fans on TikTok and that talking about, oh, look, we've sold 32,000 or whatever. Look how Tim Pot County are. It's all nonsense to me. At the end of the day, I don't care if 200 people go, 2,000 people, 20,000 people go. Fair play to anyone who sort of makes the journey and goes to back the club, and same to the other people who decide they either don't value the competition or it's too much money, whatever. There's a lot of games, there's a lot of stuff going on for people to pay for. Again, not a problem. I think that I don't think we should be sticking our nose in too much on people's individual circumstances. Thoughts on the two goalkeepers, Addy and Ben? I think that Addy at the moment is performing really, really well for us. I think that someone made this comment as well on the vlog with Addy, and they said that they think he's a goalkeeper which really relies on the chaos of a game. So constantly being called upon is where you're going to get a better version of him. And maybe in a game where he's not as called upon, where maybe he has to use his concentration over 90 minutes more, where there might not be anything for 20 minutes and then something comes at you, he tends to maybe switch off a little bit. So I think that at the moment he's probably enjoying it because the games have been so open and so end-to-end and chances have sort of flung either way. He has been called upon more, and that means he can sort of find his rhythm and he's still, always involved in the game. So I think that he's really good at the moment, but again, Ben's obviously been brilliant for us. But then he had his, he's had his struggles over the last few games before he got dropped, and he's not getting any, he's not getting any younger, is he? He's no spring chicken now. So I think obviously he's coming to the end of his career. He's got a few testimonial events coming up as well in the summer. I think that he'll call it a day at some point soon anyway, which is exactly what Stuart's saying in chat. I think Ben will retire soon. I do agree with him on that one. How many days to Wembley now? It's exactly a week away from Wembley now. Really looking forward to it. I'm a full-time carer, not possible to go. Exactly. Do you know what I mean? That people have commitments, people have things going on. So it's not possible for everyone. Wembley's next Sunday. Apparently a minute clause in the 36 minute for Bolton fans, sadly, has just suddenly passed. Right, okay. Well, I'll check out for that. But obviously, it's sad to hear that, and I'm sure we'll be made aware of it before the game. And and of course, if that is the case, then I'm sure everyone will get behind that. I'm going Wembley, but understand why people aren't. Times are hard at the moment. Plus, we may be there in the playoffs too. Some people can't afford to go twice in a month, and that's exactly the point. Like, we're not in the position. We're in a position where we might end up going to the playoffs, and then it's like, well, like you say, some people will be able to go twice, some people won't, and stuff like that. So I think that we if people are going, great, and if people aren't, fair enough. It's one of those, and I'm sure it'll be a good day out for those that are going, and hopefully we get the win, and it'll be a memorable moment. And I'm sure even those that maybe aren't going will try and catch up with it somehow or watch it or that kind of stuff. So yeah. Lee wants his program for Wembley, so we'll see what we can do with that. Minute respect for a Bolton fan who passes away. Always respect. Yeah. Shame Plymouth didn't get the memo back in January. So I'm not bringing that up again, but it was obviously a big talking point then, wasn't it? So not many seats sold for Wembley. No, just 10,000, I think it is, for Wembley, compared to Luton, who have sold about 32 to 35,000, something like that. But the thing is, it's a lot closer for them than it is for us. And it's their cup final, literally, isn't it? It's their day out for the season. I don't think they're going to make playoffs. And this could bite me on the backside now because they might make a sort of late run into the playoffs and beat us in the playoffs. But as it stands, I don't think they're going to get playoffs. They've had a bit of an underwhelming season, and it's their big day out. Whereas for us, and like people mentioned in the comments, we might be going to Wembley again for the playoffs. So it is what it is. Sold out tomorrow, apparently. Does anyone know what our actual allocation was and how many we're taking? Moderator needs to get on that. Who do you think 2 goalkeepers you would bring in? Well, if we bring in 2, that's assuming that Adai and Hinchliffe both move on this summer. Then I think that there's been a few that have been mentioned. Sam Tickle, I think it is he at Wigan's been mentioned as a decent keeper in League One. Obviously, the Luton keeper who was at Leyton Orient last season. I forget his name now. It's going to bug me that. But anyway, he's meant to be a decent keeper, but again, he's just gone to Luton in the summer. There's probably decent goalkeepers across the league, and obviously County will have their eyes on someone. They'll always have an idea of who they want to bring in. Should a player leave, and hopefully, if we decide to get a new keeper, then they'll land on the right one. Sort of a cop-out answer from me, I know. We will still be allowed at Wembley, do you think? It depends on where we're all. If we're all sort of around the same bit, then it should be okay. But if we're all sort of in different areas, then it might not be as good as it could be. I prefer 10k proper fans than 32k day trippers. But that's it, isn't it? I mean, what we've sold so far is about what we get on a match day at Edgeley Park. They get around, was it 9,000, 9,500, 10,000, something like that at Kenilworth Road every week. Where have they found all the other 20-odd thousand fans? Exactly my point, you know what I mean? So, I don't know, if their ground, it's like 12,000, it's only 1,500 or so more than Edgeley Park. Where have all the other fans come from? And it's right around the corner from, basically, compared to County. So, I'm happy with us taking 10,000. It's a competition as well, which basically has it's a competition which has one stand open for like the first, I don't know, the first 3 group games or whatever it is, and the rest of the knockout games till the semi-final. And even the semi-final didn't have great numbers compared to a normal League One game. So 7,000 to Wembley for that, not bad. If it was playoff final, different conversation. I think playoff final, I think I'd be expecting around 15, 20,000 maybe. But for Virtue Trophy final, when we're meant to be, not meant to be, but could be at Wembley for a playoff a month later, I don't think 10,000 is bad at all. 2,695. The full allocation was 2.5, and apparently we've now sold it out. Decent. Should be a good game. I saw Fevs come on for Charlton Friday, put in a great cross, but sadly no goal from his hard work. Yeah, I like Fevs, and I'd like to think he's doing well. I've not heard too much about him and how well he's been doing at Charlton, to be honest, but I don't know what we'll do with him, in all fairness. I mean, there is still a week for tickets to be sold. There is, but I think that most people want to go would have been on it quicker, to be fair. We might sell, a few more before now and then, but I think we've sold the bulk of them, haven't we? I don't think we'll get anything much more than 10,000 now. I'm waiting for the playoffs to go to Wembley. Exactly, do you know what I mean? Like, people want to wait, But anyway, let's bring it back to Bolton, obviously. Mention about the draws and all that kind of stuff. Got a bit more information on them. Top scorer for Bolton, Mason Burstow. He's got 11 League One goals, I think, to his name so far this season. Now, Mason Burstow actually scored against County in a pre-season friendly, I think it was, for Hull a week before County actually began the new season at home to Bolton. So he scored in that game, and he then went to Bolton probably within that week. Sam Dalby's also one of their top scorers. He's got 10, I think it is, in League One so far this season. So they're probably players to look out for. They had a guy on loan from Brighton that was making noises, not literally, but people talking about him at the beginning of the season. What's his name now? Meant to be a good player. Kozia Dubry, I think it was. Now, I'm not sure what his situation is. I'm pretty sure he was injured. So yeah, he's on loan at Bolton. He hasn't played any minutes for Bolton since Let me get this right. So he's not played since January, I think it is. But he was meant to be doing really well until Dakers Cogley left. Apparently, he had a good partnership down that right hand side with Dakers Cogley. So yeah, he's injured. Barry for I'm not sure. I'm not sure. I think he'll be on the bench anyway. Who are Bolton's threats? Yeah, so Burstow and Dolby. Dewberry's injured. Yeah. So that's the. I mean, they're the names that I remember seeing the most. No, it's actually quite interesting as well because obviously we spoke about the record with Bolton in recent years, and we've definitely dominated that fixture or this fixture. Bolton actually haven't beaten County in a league match at their current ground, apparently, when I was looking into it. Their last league win as a home side against County came on the 6th of April 1993. So obviously tomorrow's the 6th of April. Their last time they won in the league as the home side against us was the 6th of April 1993. So that's some time ago. County have beaten Bolton in each of our last three meetings. Bolton have picked up 3 wins over County in the last 30 years. A 1-0 win at Edgeley Park on the 24th of November 1998, a 4-1 FA Cup win at Edgeley Park on the 16th of January 2002, and then an EFL Trophy win on November 14th, 2023 against us. So other than that, we've had the better results against them in recent times. So I'm confident. I'm really, really confident going into this game. And like I said before, if we can win this game tomorrow, we can get the rest of the season, unbeaten. Bolton centre half's looking. Good question. Well, I'm going to go on to FOTMob because that's my go. Excuse me. And the last 11. Um, for the Conway, I think it is, and then they played George Johnston. I think it is at the back. They also had a send off as well. McAtee, I think it was sent off in the last game, so he can't play against us tomorrow. Now, Dakers Cogley's an interesting one. Obviously, signed from Bolton in January. I thought he started really well. To be honest, Mike's cutting out. Is it working okay now? Just let us know in the chat. So Dakers Cogley's interesting. Obviously, he can't play in the final against Luton. Getting mixed up here. So I think obviously he'll play tomorrow, but it'll be the last time he'll play till the following Wednesday against Wimbledon. So he's going to go like a week and a half basically without a game, which will be interesting. Catch up with the chat, what people are saying. Might be, to be fair, because I'm coughing as well. So, and that would have been at Burnden Park. Yeah, it was 1993. Last time I went to Bolton, it was the Reebok. I think people still call it the Reebok, don't they? Just want to say as well to anyone who's watching live, don't forget to like the video. It does always help. Get a like in the video if you're enjoying it. Reebok is pretty much what I call it. Reebok or Macron. Not calling it the tough sheet. Nonsense name. Who would you recommend to come in for Stockport players? Don't really know, to be honest. We've played Reading a few times. I like the look of Louie Wing and Charlie. Is it Charlie Savage? He might still be there. So Louie Wing always seems to. He played well against us. I felt in the game in January. Obviously, I'm pretty sure he's the one who got the goal as well late on. And he's always numbers with like goal involvements and that. So he always seems to play at the top of the stats. And like I say, on the eye test as well, he seems to pass that one as well. So Louie Wing's like a player like the look of, and Savage seems like a bit of a sort of tenacious midfielder as well. So I like that. I like the look of him. But yeah, do you think Bolton Stadium is too big for League One? Potentially. They probably are a club that deserves to be between League One and the Championship, to be honest. Maybe even lower end Prem. When I was growing up, they were in the Prem. So, yeah, Mike's cutting out. Hopefully, it's all sorted now. It's probably too in my coffin, to be fair. Mike can see misses our game tomorrow, doesn't he? Sorry if this has already been discussed. Yeah, it's just been discussed. So, He got sent off, didn't he, in their game against, was it Plymouth Friday? So, yeah, I tell you what, they've done well to win the game with a red card, but I can't remember at what point in the game he was sent off that. But yeah, so he misses out. He was, I don't know. I feel like I've come across his name before. Obviously, he's played against us for Bolton, but I'm sure he's played against us somewhere else. But I'm just thinking about it now. Actually, Bolton, they've not scored against us yet, have they? In the 3 games in the league in the last 2 seasons, we beat them 2-0 at home on the first game of this season. We beat them 1-0 at their place, Tanto Laffy last April, last March, and obviously we beat them 5-0 November 24, didn't we? So they've not even scored against us. Um, no stadium is too big for any league. It's all about how the team performs. No one has a God-given right to their league. It's a good point, but I understand the question. I think that if you've got it, it's like MK Dons, isn't it? Their ground's like what 30,000 or something like that. And I remember we went there in League Two, and you look at it, it's like it's a half empty ground. In fact, an over half empty ground. It's in League Two. I know it's a bit of a soulless bowl, but it's a big ground, and really that should not be a League Two ground, should it? Mike is fine now. That's good to hear. Let us know again if it does mess up because I'll try and rectify it. What's your starting 11 tomorrow for me? 4-4-2, Adai, Edon, Pye, Alowu, Cogley, Bailey, Norwood, Bay, Diamond, Watson, Sadibe. Well, I think it's going to be interesting because 4-4-2, it's looked more like a four at the back, I think, over the last few weeks. Maybe that's just because we've been a little bit more, not necessarily on the front foot, we've been sort of going at teams a little bit more. For me, I think Osborne will start, so it'll probably be Adai, Dacus Cogley, Alowu, Pye, Osborne, and then I think you'll go Norwood in midfield with Bailey. So what's that? That's like 5 at the back, 2-man midfield. He might go with Stokes, but I'm not sure because he did start on Friday, didn't he? You can only play so many minutes because of the injuries nursing. So he might play bait and put Bailey higher up where Stokes has been. But yeah, I'm torn on that one. He'll start Wootton, and I think he'll start Tanto, to be honest, with the goal that he got on Friday and Sidibe scoring off the bench. I think it was safe. He broke, don't fix it. Just the one change, I think, really. I know we played Friday and then Saturday, but what's the difference really between, we played Saturday, Tuesday loads of times this season, and we don't necessarily make, wholesale changes. So I expect it'll be generally the same. We might be forced maybe with Stokes, depending on how many minutes he can play, but relatively the same as what we went with on Friday. Hope for a win, but got a bad feeling about tomorrow. I can understand why, because Bolton are, the third best team in League One, I guess, so far this season. But I'm confident. I think we're playing them at the best point we can from our point of view with how well we've been. So I'm confident. What is the football behind you? What's signed by players? That one there is one from probably the early 2000s, and I probably couldn't make out the signatures, to be honest, because I would have been a kid at the time. But yeah, so it's the only one I got signed, and those ones obviously just random ones. But yeah, I probably need to find out, to be honest, where which ball it is, and who signed it. I don't rate Osborne. I think he's all right. I think he's all right. I think he came in and started fairly well, and he didn't get injured for a while as well, which a lot of Derby fans were saying he's going to get injured. And then he's had a bit of a tough patch, but then I think he's really come on the last 2 games again. In fact, I think he's probably had his 2 of his best games since signing on loan in, what was it, deadline day, like last summer. So I think Osborne's good. I think he's got a good cross on him as well when he wants to. I think he plays well when he's got good centre backs behind him, where he can sort of be a bit more effective in sort of the attacking aspects of the game more. He obviously brings experience to our game as well, and I think Norwood played a big part in getting him here as well, didn't he? From their time at Sheffield United, I think it was, and it was a very good performance on Friday against Wickham. Good cross as well for the pretty sure it was the Tanto goal. I like Oxford, but wouldn't sign him in the summer. Depends how much they want from him, innit? Depends how much they want and what league we're in because he serves a purpose. If we can get him for a decent fee, he probably comes into offer squad depth. But yeah, I wouldn't sign him as one of the main players for us. Um, Went to watch Hyde United the other week. Niall Bell was playing. Don't know who Niall Bell is. Maybe I should, but I don't know who it was. In fact, I might do actually. Yeah, 2021 he left. Yeah, rang a bell. Literally, initially went way over my head. I would sign him. Eden is not ready for that position yet. Um, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I think there's other options potentially. I don't see him as like an out and out left back either. I see him as more of a wing back. Yeah. Yeah, it just didn't cross my mind immediately. But yeah, so I think in terms of the game tomorrow, I'm pretty confident. I've said that a few times now, haven't I just think both teams will be in the playoffs. So I don't think it's a playoff fight like maybe the game against Wickham was. Wickham I was actually looking at Wickham's, fixture list as well, the games they got coming up after us, because I thought they probably needed to get something from that game really against us. Um, and then I thought, well, they've still got a chance, haven't they? And I looked at the fixtures, and I think they've got a fairly tricky run, actually. I think they're still gonna play Lincoln and Huddersfield and that, so, yeah, so it's gonna be tough for them, but I think both Bolton and that, Bolton and ourselves are gonna be in the playoffs. It's just about that 3rd spot, really, and again, I know some people are talking about still maybe 2nd being on, but I think it'd take some work now for Cardiff to drop off. I think they need a handful of points really, and they'll manage to get over the line. But like I said at the beginning, it won't be done in the way that they would have wanted it to have been done in, or the way they thought it would have been done in. In terms of the playoffs, what team is it that everyone's sort of fearing the most? Because obviously, as a Stevenage before, um, for me, it's amazing how much Huddersfield have dropped off because I thought they were like a shoe in um, a few weeks back. So they've dropped off. And obviously they sacked the manager as well, didn't they, Lee Grant? Not really done much better since he's left, have they? So um, Bradford for me, and someone else is saying Bradford as well. Yeah, I think we're just scarred by Bradford, aren't we? Because they beat us in August and they beat us at their place in February, was it? And Sarcevic scored obviously in both games as well. So I think we were probably all a little bit scarred from that one. Um, but yeah, I think that, like I say, there's no team in the playoffs you go, yeah, I really want to play them. But if I had to pick someone, I think that Stevenage would be the team I'd really not want to play the most, just because of how difficult they are. Like I think they're similar. They've got similarities to Lincoln. They're not quite as good as Lincoln, but yeah, I think that they're really difficult. They don't require a lot of the ball as well, but they can still be dangerous. So yeah, is Barry back tomorrow? He'll be on the bench tomorrow, I think. This kind of brings in as well. I can't believe it's taken me 55 minutes nearly to mention this. Obviously, there's a rule as well where you can only have five. Is it five loans in a match day squad? So obviously, Louie Barry coming into the equation again now. Obviously, another loan player that would take us up to six. I think it is of who's normally involved. So someone has to drop out from who typically play for us. Now, if I'm just going to go through our bench, it's Wickham. The laptop would speed up a little bit more. That'd be nice. But yeah, so our bench on Friday, we had Roman Dixon on loan, Dodson on loan in the starting 11. we had Osborne loan, Santo loan, Stokes loan, 5 players there. So someone's gonna have to drop out to allow Barry to come back in. Now, a lot of people saying immediately, Dodgson. And I'm like, "No, not Dodgson," because he's probably the only player we've got on the bench that's a lone player, well, actually, just at all, that can play as a centre back. Not brilliant, not brilliantly, and he wouldn't be my first choice, but we don't have, um, any cover now, centre back wise. With Hills injured, Hoskin deciding that, not deciding, but feels like it, I'm not gonna play this season now, him being run out injured. And yeah, the Hill's injured. We don't have any options. Connolly's out for the season as well. So with our only centre back options are Pye and Louie. Baker Scoglie can play in a three. Dodgson can play in a back three. But we're in a position now where we don't have any other centre back cover. So Dodgson has to be on the bench because if it really comes down to it, he's going to have to play centre back. So I think that Dixon is probably the player that would drop out for me. Um, just go through the comments. Is Barry back tomorrow? Yep, so on the bench. Sorry, I need to go back to that one. Alternative, we buy back Sars if we play him for 2 games. That would be some deal, wouldn't it? Imagine if they opened the transfer window between the playoffs and we just went, "Yeah, how much for Sarsic for 2 games?" I bet they'd charge like 1,000,000 or something as well, wouldn't they? Just for 2 games. Um, so if you already discussed, but I joined late. Barry played. He's gonna be on the bench. He's gonna be on the bench, and he'll play maybe 15, 20 minutes, I think, max. Saying Dixon for me, yeah. I think he's not really played much either, has he, as well? So I think that feels like a bit of a pointless signing. We made such an effort to get him as well, and obviously he was meant to sign in the summer. Then I think he got injured, didn't he? And then we managed to get the deal done just before the January window shut. And he's not really played. I think he played against Paul Vale in the Virtue Trophy. Other than that, he's not featured. And I just realised he said that. I joined late, but what is your score prediction for tomorrow? I'm going 1-1 at the moment. I think it'll be a draw, but fully expect me to change my opinion in the vlog tomorrow when I'm outside the ground with Adam an hour before the game. Mine's 1-0, but we'll happily take a point. Not really confident, to be fair. It's interesting. I'm really confident going into this one, and maybe it's misplaced, but I just think over the last few weeks, we got some really good results. Granted, against teams that we probably should be beating, but I thought Wycombe would be a really tough game. I thought they would give us a really, really tough battle with them trying to get in the playoffs, and they just looked really, really poor. And I can't work out even now whether or not it's because they were really, really poor or we were really, really good. And like most things, the truth is probably somewhere in between. But they looked shocking to me. And those set pieces as well, they kept trying to do. Straight off the training ground, they kept trying to do all these fancy bloody corner kicks, and none of them worked. None of them worked. That set piece coach for Wycombe, he probably got sacked the next day because they were awful from set pieces. You got someone like Nathan Lowe in the box with his height, and might as well not been there. Might as well not been there because they're set pieces. In fact, they kept bloody playing it short as well. I mean, one of the times they had a corner, they played it short, and it went out of bloody play for a goal kick. So they were atrocious. And I thought they would be good, and obviously we beat them pretty comfortably in the end. So I'm confident, but yeah, I do agree with you about taking a point. I would absolutely take a point, and I think it'd be a really good result. It's always dependent on how the game pans out, isn't it? Because if we're if we concede late on in like the I don't know, the 91st minute with 30 seconds remaining, let's face it, it's a League One game, so it's never 30 seconds of stoppage time, is it? But if we concede late on in dramatic fashion, we'll look at it and we'll be fuming with it. But going into the game as it stands now, we can show a fairly good account of ourselves and come away with a point. I think that still sets us up really well for a result against Luton in the final. How long are you streaming for? Probably not going to be too much longer because it has been nearly an hour. In fact, we're like 30 seconds away from being an hour. And we obviously went live a little bit later than usual as well. It's normally 8 o'clock when we do these live previews, but Easter weekend and obviously things to do. And I just thought push it half an hour and see what the response is. And to be fair, everyone's come in, and it's been good numbers and everyone's got involved. And it's been really enjoyable. So big thanks to everyone who has got involved while watching live, and obviously do like the video as well. It always helps. But yeah, I think that I think the only concern I have now, from now until the end of the season, is the defensive options because uh, we're all really probably happy with how things are at the moment, and everything's sunshine and rainbows currently. With County, you lose another centre back, and suddenly you're in trouble. I mean, I've said it before. I think I said it maybe on Friday. I think someone might have said it in the chat actually on Friday as well about Christy Grogan. I think it is who's on the shot. Um, we'll probably end up recalling him, irrespective of whether we get an injury or not. I think he'll get called recall just to give us some defensive cover. Because as I said, we don't even have any centre backs currently on the bench as it stands. So I think that Grogan will come back on from his loan, if we can do that. Um, but it's not an ideal situation, is it, to be in? So we just have to pray that both our centre backs stay fit. And I guess I kind of wanted to bring this point in as well. I was thinking this on the way back from the game on Friday. How strange is it that we lost Hills and everyone thought, like, oh no, we're really going to struggle now without Hills. And Louie's come in and we've kept 2 clean sheets and we've had 3-0 wins. And if you said to me, Hills gets injured and you're going to win the next 2 games 3-0, I would have said you're mad. But we brought in a Louie, and to be fair, he did his best to make sure I didn't keep a clean sheet with that sort of, I mean, what do you call it? A volley back to him almost. But other than that, he's been pretty decent for us, and he even got man of the match wrongfully, but got man of the match and won the games. So I think it's interesting, but I think at the moment we're living on a prayer, aren't we? That none of those 2 players get injured, because if they do, suddenly all that bubble that we're currently in just bursts, and we can't afford to let that happen, especially before the final, against Luton. Um, so yeah, Aloki is a good player. I really like him. I remember when he first came in, and like the look of him, I thought he looked like a good player. He looked like he had everything that you want in a centre back. Good on the ball, comfortable, hell of a jump on him, good in the air, really athletic, quick. Even had aspects of leadership in there as well. Looks like he could be a future captain. Um, he's had a bit of a tough patch. He's had a bit of a tough season. I think we've struggled to find a place for him. Um, I don't know what the plan was with him. I think he's probably one of those players, a little bit like Jack Diamond last season. Jack Diamond signed, and then we got Barry back again on loan. I think Aloi's kind of had the same treatment in the sense, he came in and then we got Brad Hills, and I think that it probably rocked the boat a little bit. So he's had to be patient. It's not probably been the ideal season for him, but he's kept his head down, and he's turned up and performed over the last 2 games when called upon, and he could have a really big impact, on how our season finishes really. So, he's been a decent signing. If Barry comes on as a sub, where do you think he'll play? I think it's a really interesting question. I think it's something we've probably not actually asked ourselves. We've got ever since he came back on loan in the end of the beginning of February and sort of end of January, that winter window. Ever since it was announced he came back, we've all been caught up in the excitement of Barry coming back. But I don't think at any point we really stopped and taken a breath and gone, "Where's he actually gonna play?" Because we don't necessarily play in the same way that we did when he was last here. Um, I think he'll play in one of those 2 forward positions, but I think that he could play behind 2 strikers in that sort of 10 position. We might even have to adapt, the sort of formation slightly as well. He might even have to, because I think Louie Barry, where he's at his best, it's when he's playing off the left, when he's cutting in from the left-hand side. That's where he's lethal. That's where he causes problems for opposition defenders. Um, so I think that's where I'd like to see him play. He could do that as playing as a front 2, and he could just play as like a wide striker. But and like I say, probably get into those positions even from the 10 position. But I like him to have the full freedom that he had in his last 2 loan spells, because he needs that player. He needs to have the freedom. Um, the one concern I do have about Barry coming back again, and everyone expecting the same kind of impact, is the last time he's played for us, he had a certain left back behind him called Ibitore, and he was really, really solid defensively, which meant that we could allow Louie Barry to do his thing going forward and let him almost just, be free, just do whatever he wants. We don't have that luxury anymore. We don't have that Ibitore there anymore. We have Ben Osborne there, and we have Teo Edon, and I don't think any of those 2 um, are as good, to be honest, as as Ibi Toure. So that's my opinion on it. I think that I'm excited for Barry being back, but I don't think he's got the same defensive support down that side of the pitch for him. As he has done over the last two loan spells, and I think it'll be actually be really interesting to see how we manage that when he does come back. Should he come off the bench tomorrow, which I fully expect he'll be on the bench. But it's a really good question. So I think he can play in any the attacking areas for us. But I think we'll all be interested to see where he comes in, how he fits in, and who sort of makes way for him as well when he does come on tomorrow. Because we've got an array of options now, haven't we? When you look at it, you've got Sadiq, you've got Barry, you've got Tanto, you've got Cal Wootton, and they're all four players there that can score goals for us. And then you got Jack Diamond as well, which if I've said before earlier on, he's been a little bit quiet recently, and I think that he's probably due a goal, isn't he? So some really really good options. But yeah, I think it's a really good question about Barry. Although he scored with his arse, granted it was an own goal, but still, yeah, he did. It was against Rotherham, back in January. I don't think he'll quite be adding that to his goal tally for the end of the season though. But yeah, um, I guess you could say goal of the season contender. I'm not sure. Osborne can provide crosses. He can provide crosses, but that's more for Cal Button, isn't it? We're not really going to be seeing Louie Barry getting in the many crosses. Having said that, you wouldn't have said that for maybe Sidibe, but he's he can get his head on things and score goals. So I don't know. I think Louie Barry. It'll be interesting to see how we get the best out of him because it's a different team to what it was when he was last in it. We realistically, he's not been one of our. We've not had him in the squad for over a year now. So we're a different side to what we were then. And it'll be interesting. Be interesting to see what he's like. And I know we're all expecting that impact from him again, but let's just wait and see. Um, Here we go. Hey there, my mum. I know your mum, right? Fair enough. Um, I was wondering where you're going with that then. I'm quite fickle when it comes to Koryadai, but I've warmed to him these past two games. Even Tanto has grown in confidence. Well, thanks for the comment. Yeah, Koryadai, I think I've always tried to back him and be as supportive of him as possible. Obviously, some of his performances at the beginning of the season made that very difficult to do, to be honest. But again, I never felt angry towards him like some sections of the fan base have. I just felt disappointed for him really more than anything. But he was probably right at the time when he got dropped, as much as I didn't want to see it happen. But yeah, I think he's proven when called upon over the last few weeks, there's a solid goalkeeper in there. Has he still got a mistake in him? I think he does. Hopefully, we don't have to see that too often. Hopefully, it's not a mistake that ends up costing us, but he's still got a mistake in him because if he didn't, he wouldn't be a League One goalkeeper. But at the moment, he's performed really well over the last two games in particular. I'm hoping he'll keep that going tomorrow. And obviously, he's sort of 6'8". I'm sure they'll about 10'8". With confidence he'll be feeling now. As for Tanto, growing in confidence, I think we've seen over the last few weeks. To be honest, I think we've seen him get looking back to his best, looking sharper, looking more like the Tanto that we all know and love. So the signs were there, and obviously he got the goal on Friday. It was a really good goal for him, and um, almost at the perfect time as well. Obviously, with Bolton and the goal we got against Bolton, their place last season. So timing couldn't be any better. He's he'll be growing in confidence from that as well. Even just the last few games, the assist that the week before as well. So um, yeah, I think everyone's feeling confident now, to be honest. Um, and the good thing as well, you got Sidibe scoring. Wootton, okay, didn't score last time out, but he's been scoring goals across the season. Tanto, uh, Steve as well. I'm just mentioning them. I think they're all scoring goals. And then you got Barry coming back in as well. You think about the competition for places. All those players know if they don't perform, there's another player that's very capable of scoring, ready to take their place. And that can only be a good thing as well, especially heading into cup final after tomorrow, then the playoffs as well. I think we're in a really good spot, but it does all depend on a little bit of luck, and that's about injuries, and that'll be I think that'll be the thing that defines our season now is can we stay injury free? Can we pretty much get away with putting the same 11 out 9 times out of 10? Because I think we've got a solid squad now. We've got a team now. I wouldn't say we've got a solid squad. We've got a solid 11 we've seen good performances out of the last few weeks, and we pretty much don't want to break away from that too much, really, if we can. So I expect tomorrow will be fairly similar, just maybe one or two changes from Friday, and I think we'll try and do the same again against Luton in the final. Um, we've got a pattern now. We've got a familiarity in that starting 11, and we don't really have to break that up too much. That probably won't be helped by the fact that we've got games coming up now thick and fast. I think we play something like 7 matches across 21 days or something like that. Um, so it's a really difficult spell, and you are gonna have to make changes, but we'll be hoping that we can try and get away with, not having to make too many, and obviously we've got a lot in the forward line now, so that should help us. But, in terms of midfield, I think we've only got a handful of centre back, we've only got a handful of full back area. We've only really got Baker's Cogley, haven't we, there, really? Dixon's barely played, so we don't know what he's capable of. Um, whatever reason he's not playing. If he's not playing, then Charlie obviously doesn't rate him. Favourite Easter egg? Is that a question or is that a reference to the one behind me? Favourite Easter egg? I don't know. I don't know on that one. I like the Thorntons one. I like any chocolate really. Not a fan of Nestle, but yeah, Cadbury's can't really go wrong with them. Um, so need at least 2 or 3 more wins to get to the playoffs. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I'd say 2 wins or so. Yeah, 2 or 3 wins. I think we'll do it, and I think we'll get that. To be honest, as well. Um, what's our what's our fixtures now? I've remembered the next 2 or 3 fixtures, um, and then as we've gone through these games, like we've played Wimbledon, we've played Wycombe now, got Bolton tomorrow, and then thinking about the games after. So I know we got Bolton, then Luton, then Wimbledon, then Exeter, and I have to remind myself who we got after that period of time. So we got Mansfield on the Tuesday after Exeter. Then we got Peterborough at home on the Saturday at 12:30. Then it's Port Vale on the Tuesday night after Peterborough on the Saturday, and then it's the last game of the season against Barnsley away. So, yeah, I think that if you look at those games, I'll go through it dead quick now. Bolton tomorrow, get at least a draw from. Luton, we beat them in the final, fingers crossed. Wimbledon away, if it's anything like Wimbledon at home last weekend, we should win that one comfortably. Exeter away, they've been not pretty, they've not been good this season, so I expect to, win that game. Mansfield at home. Mansfield's always a tricky, sort of opposition for us, but I'd expect at least a draw. Should be winning that one really with where Mansfield are in the table. Peterborough at home, again, struggled against them last season at their place. They beat us convincingly back in November. It was won the 3-0. It was a 3-0 defeat, one after Luton. Should beat them really at home. Port Vale at home speaks for itself. I mean, see the way Chelsea dismantled them in the cup last night. I had it on just in the hope that they could have maybe caused a bit of an upset. But who was I kidding? 7-0 was it in the end? Ridiculous. So, yeah. I mean, if we don't beat Port Vale by anything by 4-0, then it's a disgrace. And then obviously Barnsley, who haven't had a great season either, I'd expect to win there. Shouldn't really be losing it last game of the season. So I think playoffs is a certain certainty now. I think it'd be a huge error if we didn't make playoffs, and a lot of questions will be asked. So so about 2 or 3 wins to do it, yeah. But I think we will do it. Let's just go through it. Thank you tonight. No worries. Enjoyed it, to be honest. Terry, I'm guessing he means Terry's Chocolate Orange. Thanks for doing the show. No worries. Hopefully everyone's enjoyed it. Terry's Chocolate Orange or Ferrero Rocher for me. I've never had a Ferrero Rocher one. Even though we've still got a few more games, what's your favourite goal this season? I was thinking about this the other day, and I remember all the games. What I'll do is I will at the end of the season probably do my favourite goal of the season, and what I'll have to do is I'll have to watch all the goals just to remind myself. But off the top of my head, I liked Diamonds against Mansfield away. I thought it was a really good header. I enjoyed I enjoyed the Odin Bailey goal actually as well on Friday. So there's 2 to stand out. I enjoyed the goal. Which one is it I'm thinking of now? Norwood free kick was good. The one against Burton, I enjoyed that one. Decent one at Luton, but not quite as good as the Mansfield one, I didn't think. I'm trying to think now. Tranmere one was good, but I missed that one. Wasn't at the game. There's been some good goals this season, but I feel like maybe I had good ones better ones last season. Based off current standings, we would secure playoffs come the Barnsley game. Well, that is the last game of the season, so I would expect us to have confirmed it by then. Um, I think we need 12 points to be certain. Yeah, possibly. Nor would be Doncaster has to be up there. In the semi-final, yeah, I think that's the one we're thinking of. Tomorrow we need 2 or 3 goals tomorrow match at half time. Um, Mine is between Brecky Wotton's last minute winner versus Huddersfield since it got disputed, or Bailey's against Huddersfield. Um, yeah, I think they're good shouts, aren't they? To be honest, the Brecky one was the one we thought was Brecky's goal was brilliant at the time. Just the way that it went in and so late on in the game, and to secure the free. Back start of the draw against Cardiff or something like that. I can't remember now. It was early in January, 12:30 on a Saturday, wasn't it? Yeah, I enjoyed that one. Um, yeah, there has been some good goals, but I still think the best ones are probably yet to come as well. I think Osborne scored a good one against Doncaster just before Christmas as well, if memory serves me correct, away at Doncaster. But that was a decent goal. So been some good ones, but again, I think once we get nearer to the end of the season, I'll probably watch them and we'll have a proper conversation about it. I'm sure we'll do a best goal of the season, a player of the season, a young player of the season, a sign of the season, all those kind of things when we get to the end, well, near the end of the season. I think with us sort of heavily expecting to be in the playoffs as well, I think it'll be tough to know when to do it because we could score a really good goal in the playoffs and then they've not counted it in. So yeah. Anyway, we've been going for now on 20 minutes now, which is mad. Wasn't there a goal for us at Wycombe, but had VAR. It should have been disputed, but I was in the Danny Bagara near the railway end. Yeah, this is the Joseph Olowu header, which was, in my opinion, went over the line. That's how it looked to me in the Cheadle end, obviously behind the goal. But yeah, their keeper basically they come off the post, and then the keeper sort of caught it, but sort of pushed it out, and it was like, is he over the line? Did the ball go over the line? It looked to me like it did. It looked to me like it hit the side netting on the left hand side, but I don't know. Maybe that's just me. I felt it was a goal. I felt it went over. If anyone wants to see as well, it isn't. I managed to get that on the vlog as well, so people can find the vlog from Friday, and they'll be able to make their own minds on it again if they want. I'm sure County part of that match highlights now as well, and that will probably be on there. So it felt to me like it was a goal, but because we won the game comfortably anyway, it probably wasn't much of a talking point. I think I said before actually, if it's fine, but if we missed out on second or third by 1 goal, I think we'll all be fuming and asking the referee some serious questions. But at the moment, I'm fine with it because we won the game comfortably anyway. The replay showed it was caught behind the line, so it should have been a goal then. What happens in that situation? Do we get a letter from the PGMO or whatever? Something like that. Yeah, I'm not sure. I mean, I never understand the point of him writing a letter afterwards to go, "Oh, by the way, yeah, you should have had a goal here," whatever. It means very little, at the end of the day, doesn't it? Once you don't get the result, so it didn't cost us any points. It might cost us maybe goals at the end of the season, but yeah. You were saying we should appeal. Mm. How successful are we with appeals, though? Didn't we try to appeal that Jack Diamond retrospective action against Huddersfield last season? Was it? They got a 3-match ban at the end of the season. Well, that was ridiculous, to be honest, but then it did make me laugh when Huddersfield had the same thing go against them earlier this season. Um, didn't really feel much sympathy from, to be honest. But yeah, I'm, I'm sort of excited for tomorrow. I'm confident. It's the toughest game on paper in the league from now until in the season, but I think we'll do it. I think we'll get a draw at least. Um, but I do feel like I'm going to change my opinion when I get there tomorrow. Goals difference is vital. It is, and that's obviously the difference between us and Bolton. Currently, well, obviously 3 points as well. But should we win tomorrow, we go level on points. It's just goals difference, which is going to keep them in third. But obviously, we then have a game in hand as well. So I think third's on. I think second's a push. But yeah, I'm excited for the rest of the season now. I feel like we're clicking. I feel like we're clicking, and obviously, what happens tomorrow will massively impact that. We could get beaten badly tomorrow, and then suddenly the mood feels completely different. But at the moment, I have every reason to be optimistic. Um, are you going tomorrow? Yes, I am. So we'll have the vlog out for that one tomorrow for tomorrow's game. Hopefully, it's a good game. I'm looking forward to it. I think it's one of the grounds I've not done actually. One of two that I'm yet to do. I think. Uh, no, it's one of three that I've yet to do because I haven't done Wimbledon's yet, and I haven't done Exeter. So and they're all on the list to tick off. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it tomorrow. I'm confident. I think we'll get a draw at least. I think that it's not a must win, but it's a must not lose. I think it's probably the best way of putting it. Um, so yeah, big thanks to everyone who's tuned in live. Don't forget to like the video if you've enjoyed it. Do get your thoughts as well if you're watching afterwards. Subscribe and all that kind of stuff. Thanks to everyone. See you guys tomorrow with the vlog. Hopefully, County get the result. I do think it'll be a draw, but I'd love a win. I really want us to win. But yeah, let's see what happens. Tanto's back on fire at the perfect time, I guess. So who knows? Maybe he could be involved in the goals just like last time around. Why does the goalkeeper play around with the ball at the back and get it up top, get it up front? It works. It works, though, doesn't it? He's so effective when he does it. I was gonna go then, but that comment made me want to, have my say on it. It works because what he does is he keeps the ball at his feet, which is not time wasting because it's ball on the ground. And then just before the opposition comes to him, he picks it up, and then it's out. And to be fair, he does move it quick as well. I've seen a few times he actually catches the ball and he rolls it out quick for us to try and start an attack. So he does a bit of both. What I think Haddad does really well is he tries to manage the game as best as possible, depending on the situation he's in. If we're comfortable, there's opportunity for him to kill a bit of time. He does it. If there's a time where we want to go forward, there's an opportunity to break forward. He will pretty much try and get it out as quick as possible. Obviously, sometimes the opposition gets in front of him and he can't play it out quick enough, or there's no one making a good enough run. But I think he's pretty good with the way he manages his distribution, and without hating on Ben too much, he's head and shoulders above him in terms of distribution. So yeah, that's my thoughts on that one. Um, people in the chat saying, "See you, man." Yeah, cheers. Later. Yeah, big thanks to everyone, and I'll see you guys tomorrow with the vlog. Hopefully, you tune in for that one. Thanks for tuning in for this one, and hopefully, County can get the result tomorrow. A draw or a win, either one I'll take. Love 3 points, but I think we'll get a draw, to be honest, and I think it'll be not a bad result. So, big thanks, and I'll see you guys tomorrow. Bye for now.